What's going on, guys, and welcome to The Guide. My name is Valerio, but you may also know me as Italian Stallion, and today we're going to be looking at yet another brand new passing mechanic in FIFA 20, the driven lob through pass. Passing as a whole has changed a whole lot in FIFA 20. In fact, this is the second tutorial we have for a specific passing mechanic here on the guide for FIFA 20. So, if you haven't already, I would definitely suggest checking out the lifted pass tutorial linked in the description so you guys can get accustomed to all the different variations of new passes that you can now do. Back to the driven lobbed through pass. However, this is a variation of a pass mechanic that we've had through year, just the normal lob through pass. They both have their own purpose, and we will get to that so you know exactly when to use the new driven lob through pass feature. But before we do that, let's get straight into the commands so you can learn how to perform the driven through pass. It doesn't hurt to look at a few examples of the regular lob through pass before we look at the driven variation using the attacking scenario skill games. I would also suggest any of you guys to use these skill games for attacking scenarios so you can get accustomed to any new part of the game you want to learn. A normal lob through pass is performed by holding L1 on PlayStation or LB on Xbox and then pressing the through ball button, triangle on PlayStation or Y on Xbox to load up the desired power. You're also going to want to use your left stick to aim, and as you can see in my case, I had to aim towards the upper right hand corner to get the desired trajectory. This type of pass is nothing new and it's been in the game for a while, but over the past few years, its biggest weakness has been in the final third, with the tendency to have an excessively high and loopy trajectory. And then this is where the driven lob through pass comes in, because this new variation gives the original lob through pass a sharper, lower, and faster trajectory of the ball. The commands are just a slight variation to those of the original lob through pass. What you're going to want to do is hold both of your bumpers this time, that is L1 and R1 on PlayStation and LB and RB on Xbox. And then once again, you're going to proceed to press either triangle or Y for your through ball, and then using the left stick, of course, to aim the pass for your desired path. At first, I did struggle to find the right areas to use this feature in, but with some trial and error, it has become my go-to choice in certain situations. So let's go ahead and see when it is best to use the driven lob through pass. I think it's safe to say that at first glance, anyone would come to the conclusion that the driven through pass is most useful on the wing in situations where your player has a ton of space in front of him to run into. And this is true, but there's definitely more to it. Before we get into that though, let's look at these situations on the wing, and let's start with this example where we attempt a classic lob through ball to feed the movement that Hazard is giving us. This is just to further reiterate how different these two types of lob through passes are, because in this situation, the driven variation would have never given such a high loopy trajectory. When you're dribbling and you notice a player giving you the run, this can be a useful time to use the driven through ball as opposed to the normal one, since the trajectory will be faster, it will be lower, and it won't slow your player down who's trapping the ball as much. So the power needed will vary, but typically I found that lower power translates to better success rates, so keeping it between 1 and 2 bars of power is always ideal. My personal favorite scenario to use this passing feature, however, is not so much on the wings, but whenever there is an opportunity to send my player through on goal. In this case, we've got Lucas on the ball, and Felipe Anderson is giving us the run in behind the defense. The reason I would prefer a driven variation of the lob through pass is because I don't want a high, loopy trajectory that would slow my player down in the moment of contact. I need him to keep going, so this ball is perfect to cut through the air and send us straight to net. Because of how specific this pass is, and because of the fact that it's simply a variation of a pass that already exists, the instructions we've covered for now are just not enough. We have covered a couple of situations where this lob through ball is useful, and we have covered the amount of power needed to make it more successful, but the reality is that there is more to it. As you can see with the examples of the screen, the inherent risk with this skill is that the keeper will sometimes come out because the ball is overhit and he will intercept. I still do think that at long range it is doable, but for me, the area in which this feature has truly become a part of my game is in the last 20 to 30 meters of the pitch. This new feature is really useful for those types of runs where you need to send the ball over the defensive line, but there isn't that much space, and a simple through ball would get intercepted, and the normal variation of the lob through pass would be too high and too loopy. Overall, it took some getting used to, but I am definitely a fan of this new driven through pass. It has been a few years since I have felt like the normal variation left a lot to be desired in the final third of the pitch. Passes would be too slow and would easily find their way in the keeper's hands. This feature gives you new options in those types of scenarios that I believe only this type of pass can achieve. In other areas of the pitch, like on the wing and on longer distances that we discussed, the risk is that there are times when the ball is overhit. It's still useful, of course, but you have more options in those cases. You could sometimes even just do a normal through ball. No matter when and where you decide to incorporate it though, the key will lie with timing and power, as you risk taking too long and letting the runner get offside, or simply overhitting it and allowing the opposing keeper to intercept it. That's going to be it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. Of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notifications to keep yourself up to date with everything you need to know to improve your FIFA 20 gameplay. It's been a pleasure, and until next time, peace out.